This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers' Phil Blackwell.
Well, that's right. Phil Blackwell should be on here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Inside High School Sports Show, and we've got a great one for you. Phil, first of all, how are you?
Finally thawed. It's been an interesting week where you went outside. If you went outside, you would be an icicle within about 10 minutes. So now, finally, that's getting out of the way. But it did affect the schedules quite a bit. That plus snow the previous week affected schedules that week. So there's been 2-week scramble to have a lot of games take place. But yet, a whole lot has happened in the last couple of weeks as we work towards the postseason, or in some cases, we're already into the postseason. Tomorrow, you have sectional finals in girls hockey and bowling. And you have sectional class tournaments today in wrestling taking place. So we're already into the postseason that pretty much lasts for the next 6 weeks or so.
An outstanding program for you. We've got our Wegmans winning spotlight interview with members of the Syracuse ice hockey team. And, you know, some teams find their hunger diminished after reaching a championship level. That's definitely not the case for the Syracuse Cougars in ice hockey here. They've earned the sectional title a year ago, but this year doing even better, accumulating a 16-0-1 record, while rising to number 3 in the state Division I rankings. With the postseason just a couple of weeks away, Coach Neil Purcell and his players Ryan Eccles, Hugh White, Emmett Berry, Andrew Corning, all joining us here in studio.
They seem to have improved from a season ago in terms of the depth they provide and the fact that so many different players offensively can hurt you, whether it's Philip Zola. And some of these guys were on the West Hill State soccer championship team, but some of these other guys, so much was back from last season, especially on the offensive end and the defensive end. They had to replace goalies, but Moreno's done a great job in goal as well. But what they've done, they've become the dominant team and the favorite and the one that's everybody's chasing. The only thing that's been able to stop them has been this weather, because they've only played, I think, one game in the last 2 or 3 weeks because of schedule changes. They were supposed to play Merrimack, supposed to play Ithaca, haven't done so. They finally resumed tonight against a pretty good Division II team, Cortland Homer, a pretty good matchup late season between teams that, you know, will be factors in the postseason, and they'll be tested enough down the stretch. Really, not many teams have been close to them in Division I games. West Jenny a little bit, but not many others, and we'll see if Syracuse can keep this up all season long and get into the state tournament, but that's a whole nother matter that we'll talk about later.
Now, right after that, we've got our SummitCars.com spotlight interview with members of the West Genesee girls basketball team. And it's been quite a run for West Genesee girls hoops. You look at, there was a Section 3 Class AA title in 2017 to break a 20-plus year drought. Then there was last season's run to the state Final Four in Troy, seeking a second sectional championship three-peat and more this winter. So the Wildcats have gone 13-3 this season. All the defeats at top statewide competition and are number 16 in the current state rankings. So Coach Stafford Spreeder will be here as well as with some seniors, Mackenzie Smith, Madison Smith, Caitlin Walker, Alicia Gaston, Tara Osterdale, Lily Goodsell, and Catherine Corbett, all here in studio.
With West Genesee, I mean, the thing was, for a team that's done so much the last 2 years, they brought back a lot. They only graduated one starter from a year ago. And more importantly, they kept the Smith sisters. Madison has already passed 1,000 career points. Mackenzie's getting close to it and might get there before the end of the regular season. West Genesee had some big wins early on, especially the overtime win over CNS, though CNS did avenge it a month later. Still, West Genesee's in the prime position to be the top seed because they haven't had any other stumbles in league play against local opponents. And when they can get the contributions from players like Walker and Katie Cunningham, they become more dangerous, and they're a terrific defensive team. West Genesee is still the favorites to three-peat in AA, and it'll be interesting to see if they can take that and finish it this season, and they'll be favored.
Yeah. Right now, the most active and exciting race among contenders in boys basketball might exist in Class A. We'll talk about this. Top contenders, Whitesboro, JD, Central Square, and ESM have all faced each other, and the results have varied, and most of those games are close too. Yes, Central Square was 10-1. They beat ESM in December, but then the Spartans rebounded by beating the Red Hawks in double overtime last Friday after both of those teams lost to Cortland.
Yeah, I mean, the round robin among these Class A teams has been fascinating to watch because JD was probably the favorite in the season, and they've stayed pretty consistent most of the way despite some turmoil. Central Square was rolling along, and then Cortland and ESM both beat them in road games, and they're going to have to play at JD next Friday. This week, JD turned around and beat ESM, which was a big deal because ESM had won at home over Central Square in double overtime. Amid all that, you've got Whitesboro, who has been rolling along, maybe the best team in the Tri-Valley League. Morial's been a great player for the Warriors. They might end up the top seed after all. Then there's Bishop Grimes. Don't forget about them. That Cobras have won, I think, 9 of 10. Only losing to Bishop Ludden last Sunday, but they've won 9 of 10 otherwise. And they're going to be a team that none of these other contenders have faced them. Grimes has 2 real go-to guys with TJ Bradford and David Moe.
And Phil pointing out Bishop Grimes and Cobras have won 6 in a row before Sunday defeat to Bishop Ludden in the wake of a 12-day layoff. Talk about Ludden here for a second.
Yeah, and Ludden is maybe the third best team in Class AA because everyone knows about Corcoran, their undefeated team, and West Genesee's been strong all season. But Ludden has very quietly put together a pretty solid season, and now they have a bit of a win streak going. Ludden won 3 times this week. That went over Grimes earlier this week. They've got a great 3-point shooter, Nick Button. They have nice contributions from the rest of their roster, players like Monty Johnson, Champ Reed, Michael Kegler. Gallagher Driscoll's doing a pretty good job as a first-year coach, making them a team that can knock off those teams in Class AA on any night. But they need, I think, ultimately Button to make a lot of 3-pointers to do so.
You know, it's far more sedate if you look at Class AA boys basketball. You've got Corcoran withstood yet another challenge from Nottingham to go 15-0. West Genesee is close behind here, having seen Lucas Sutherland get to 1,000 career points in an easy win over FM. And then you look, you look at this week before February 5th rematch in Camillus. You got to talk about the SCAC Metro Division has shown any kind of consistency. Let's kind of go through Rome Free Academy. Let's talk about Ludden. Let's talk about some of these other teams. Let's talk about Skinny Atlas. We'll talk Corcoran. We'll talk West Genny. Where should we start?
We'll start with Corcoran because unlike Skinny Atlas, they stayed undefeated this week. The Cougars won a rematch with Nottingham last night to stay. I think they're now 16-0. 16-0. And they've kept themselves perfect somehow, unlike West Genesee, who lost to Nottingham on Tuesday. It's funny. With West Genesee, all 3 of their defeats have come to city teams. One to Corcoran, one to Henniger, one to Nottingham. For some reason, the city teams have given them more problems than anybody else. And West Genny and Corcoran have that rematch on Tuesday. After West Genny has to play Victor today, making up a game from 2 weeks ago, and then play Baldwinsville Monday night, making up a game that was postponed on Thursday. So the Wildcats aren't exactly going to go into that game in an ideal scenario, having played 2 tough games in the previous 3 days, even though they're going to be at home and you know that crowd's going to be up for it. Then you look at Class. We mentioned Skinny Atlas. They were undefeated going into this week, but finally they got beat. But even in that game, Bishop Ludden, that was tied going to the 4th quarter, and only Ludden got away by a little bit. It was an impressive effort by a Skinny Atlas team that gets great balance from their top scorers, Reed, Canty, and the sophomore Nate Fouts, all 3 of them. You still would think that Skinny Atlas is probably the team to beat in Class B, but I think West Hill is starting to realize that they could still win. I watched them last night against Salve, a tough game that they pulled away with, even with Zach Brown on the bench with foul trouble after he'd gotten 28 points. So Skinny Atlas, they got to worry about anyone at West Hill, a team they beat earlier this season, but has improved plenty since then.
In Class C between, let's talk about undefeated state number 2 ranked Cooperstown and once beaten Utica Academy of Science, whose lone defeat was to the Hawkeyes in December. Let's talk about that big matchup.
Well, the biggest thing that happened last night was that Cooperstown finally got beat. Cooperstown got knocked off by Holland Patton. Now, Cooperstown had some injuries, so they had they were not full strength for this game, but nonetheless, it was their first defeat of the season. And what it does is make the battle for the top seed very fascinating in Class C because you've got Cooperstown, Utica Academy of Science, and Weedsport, each with 1 defeat. But Weedsport's only loss was the Skinny Atlas, a B team. Cooperstown's only loss was the Holland Patton, a B team. Thus, if UAS wants the top seed, they're going to have to beat Cooperstown. But even if that happens, Weedsport might get the top seed ahead of them. And if these top 3 teams have really separated themselves from the rest of Class C, then having that top seed is absolutely crucial because then you wouldn't have to beat the other top 2 teams in order to win a sectional title. Seeding becomes very important come playoff time when you've got maybe a group of like 3 or 5 quality teams because it's an easier path if you're a top seed.
All right, let's keep going here. Let's talk. Can we talk some girls hoops for a second?
Please.
So I wanted to, what promises to be really terrific battle for Class B, really supremacy. If you look at this thing, took another turn last Saturday. West Hill helped by a 22-2 third quarter push, defeated Oneida 61-47. Just a second loss the Unions had taken all season after climbing to the state top 10, just ahead of the Warriors, who now have wins over both Oneida and South Jefferson to strengthen its own case. Also, let's talk Class A for a second. JD took a 43-40 defeat last Saturday to Pittsburgh-Mendon. The team had beaten 2017 state Class A final and must feel that Bishop Ludden could dethrone them, since the Gaelic Knights have won 10 in a row since December, including Sunday's win over Bishop Grimes. So a lot of great stuff there in girls hoops. Some
fascinating stuff what's going on. We go to Class B, West Hill. They have probably and the thing is, it's not just because of Mackenzie Martin. Everyone knows about her. But they're getting big games from Jenna Larrabee and from Catherine Dady and Erica Gangemi. So you've got to worry about all of them when you face West Hill. And Oneida also took a loss to Whitesboro yesterday, so they've lost back-to-back games. A little bit of a stumble for the Indians after a great run they've had most of the season. Moving to Class A, even though JD lost to Mendon, they are the top 2 ranked teams in the state in Class A. So the road still goes through the Red Rams, who still haven't lost to anyone locally. Meanwhile, Ludden is really rolling. 11 straight wins. I saw him play last Sunday against Bishop Grimes. The thing is, Aurora Deshays, everyone knows about her, but they've got the 8th grader Amara Strife, and they've got a 3-point threat with Carly Leo and in a deep pool of guards. So you can't just worry about those 2 forwards. You've got to worry about everything else with Ludden. They're the team that could take JD down, maybe. And that's what makes Class A so fascinating because in recent years, JD was so far above the crowd, but because of Ludden's reading record, you can't really say that this time.
Yeah, that's right. More in girls basketball, Class AA favorites, CNS and West Genesee coming off crucial wins over really much improved Liverpool. They'll likely mark time for the rest of the regular season, but there's far more intrigue when you look at both the school classes here. There's Weedsport trying to finish off an undefeated regular season starting the week 6. We'll talk about that. Did they? Still number 3 in the state rankings, but with tough games, as we'll talk about Pulaski and Lafayette.
Weedsport keeps rolling, but the big development this week in Class AA was that CNS had a 15-point lead on Baldwinsville going to the 4th quarter, and Beeville came back and beat them. Beat them on a last-second shot by Sydney Hatala after they were down 14 in the 4th quarter. A massive win for a Beeville team that hasn't really recovered from seeing Katie Pascal get hurt late in December. And it was the first time any one of the other league teams had beaten West Jenny or CNS. Needless to say, West Jenny paid attention to that, and they hammered Beeville on Friday night, making sure that didn't happen to them. And when West Jenny's at full strength, as you said, with the Smith sisters, they're still the favorites, and they're probably going to be the top seed because of their league record. So it's fascinating because West Jenny did lose to CNS a couple weeks ago, but they seem to have played better since then.
Oh, that's really good. Something else I wanted to talk about is we can't forget Little Falls and Cooperstown from the Center State Conference, both of whom are playing very well, and also Class D, Copenhagen, Brookfield, Madison, all ranked in the state top 12. I mean, what's going to happen with playoffs?
The seeding's going to matter the most. It's Class D. You've got 3 or 4 teams that can make cases as top seeds, and any one of them could grab it, whether it's Madison, whether it's Brookfield, whether it's but Copenhagen's been the strongest team because they've been beating Class C teams this season, and they've shown that they could beat just about anybody in their schedule. Working at C, again, you're looking through Weedsport as the top seed, but again, Little Falls may have been facing tougher competition. Cooperstown's been on a roll for a month now, and they've had recent strength of history. They have a state championship in their recent history. So there's that. Again, in Class C and D, what you have is teams that really don't face each other all that much during the regular season. Then they get together in sectionals, and you never really know, no matter what your records are.
Yeah, when you look at it that way. All right, Phil and I are going to take a break. When we get back, we've got a rockin' show, as I mentioned before. We're going to first start things out with our Wegmans Whittington Spotlight interview, members of the Syracuse ice hockey team. And right after that, West Genesee girls hoops. Phil and I will finish up, talk some more wrestling and some other sports here as we continue on the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, broadcasting and here in the ESPN studios and presented by SummitCars.com.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
Here we are back on the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, Mike Bristol and Phil Blackwell, which I think Phil's in the bathroom, and which is outstanding. So let's get right to it. We're going to talk some hockey And we've got the crew in for our Wegmans Winning Spotlight interview, members of the Syracuse Ice Hockey team. And Neil, what's going on? How are you, Neil Purcell?
How are you, Mike? Good to be back.
Part of Purcell Paints, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you been doing any painting this winter?
Not this winter, no. Busy with these guys, I guess.
I thought, is your dad the painter of the household?
we don't do painting. We just sell the paint.
You just sell the paint?
Yeah, we stay on the good side of the counter.
So you're not a painter?
No.
Did I cover that?
Yes.
Why don't you ever offer me some paint? You know how much money I've spent in paint in the last... Neil, that's messed up.
Hey, you got
I just painted 2 houses the entire inside.
Oh.
And you could have saved me some significant dollars, and I could have given you ads on the show.
If you want the best haircut, you got to come to the head barber.
Yeah, you're right. That's good. Your hair doesn't look so good, though. All right, let's get rolling here. So we've got Neil Purcell's clue. Ryan Eccles, what's up, Ryan? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good job. Huey White, what's up, Hugh?
What's going on?
Named after your dad, right? Big Hugh.
Of course.
And how's your dad doing, your mom?
They're doing great.
Yeah? Those guys, the family's all good?
Yeah.
John Boy, good?
Yeah.
Sisters?
Yeah.
I love it. Emmett Berry, what's up, Emmett Berry?
Hey, how are you?
Talk louder, Emmett Berry. Emmett, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good job. Andrew Corning, what's up, Andrew?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you?
Guys, again, when you talk, you just slide the microphone, talk in front of it. It's a good thing to talk into. So, Neil, let's get right through this right now. 16-0-1, number 3 in the state, Division I rankings. Talk about the team.
It's a great group of seniors. These guys, hard workers. They listen. They want to win. So when you get that sort of foundation to a team, it's huge. It's everything.
All right, Hugh, let's go to you. Tell me a little bit about this team and the bond that you guys have together.
It's been great. There's a good group of seniors. I think there's like 12 of us. I think like 5 or 6 of us have been on the team since freshman year. And, just going through the years and working hard with them and seeing it pay off is really special.
How's your grandpa, the mayor? Is he come to every game?
Yeah, he does. Every home game that he can make.
Holding up a sign, yelling at you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a crowd favorite in Marcellus.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's keep rolling here. Emmett Berry. What's up, Emmett Berry?
Yeah, how are you?
So I want to talk about last season. There's a sense of accomplishment or desire to do more since you guys didn't reach that state Frozen Four. Talk about the determination and where you guys are at and obviously wanting to do that.
Well, so after losing in the state regionals, it was kind of tough on all of us. So I think we all really just wanted to step it up this year and go farther.
And what have you guys done?
We've won some big games. It looks like we should go pretty far this year. I mean, everyone kind of works really hard.
All right, very good. Ryan, talk a little bit about that as well if you can.
Yeah, I think this year,
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
more than ever, I've been on the team since my 8th grade year. And,
Okay. Get closer to the microphone.
and this year, I think by far, this is the most intense our practices have been. Like, everybody's working hard. Everybody's trying to get better.
Is that because you guys, the seniors, the older guys are saying, hey, this is what it is, this is what you need to do?
Yeah, it definitely stems from the senior leadership on the team, but everybody buys in. Like, everybody wants to win.
Neil doesn't whip paint cans at you guys to motivate you.
No, he tries not to, but
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it's got to happen.
Slips.
Neil, let's talk about the Frozen Four and what the goal is of this team. So talk about Syracuse Cougars.
I think the goal is the state title this year. To have so many underclassmen contribute to the team. Last year they got to the state regional game, and to have that experience in our back pockets now is huge. So I think the talent, experience, the whole thing is culminating into a real special group.
So you look at, let's go back to you, Huey, for a second. And one aspect of the game, I guess, let's talk about this group, and last season and what the team was like this season compared to this season. Much more improved, different skaters. Talk about this team.
I think we have a lot of the pieces back from last year. Probably, I think we only lost like 4 seniors. So a big group back, so that just means more experience, and yeah.
That's good. Emmett, you look at, and Phil and I were chatting about this, but there's no single line that does most of the work on offense, but still, you've got, like Ryan, for instance, all the guys work well together, but talk about the lines and how you guys do what you do.
I think like most of the offensive lines are all like pretty much similar in the skill-wise. I mean, obviously, like Ryan's line is like a little
the way
bit
Neil
better
sets it up, or what? Kind of elaborate on that. So go ahead.
Neil sets it up to everyone's like really similar skill-wise. I think we have a senior on almost every line.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. Hugh, how about you guys defensively? Let's think about you, Emmett, Andrew. And I think the best performance this season, that 1-0 shutout over Skaneateles or perhaps other games. So talk about that.
Yeah, just tighten it up in the defensive zone. Not giving teams space to work with, and just if you stay in their offensive zone or in their defensive zone, they can't score on you.
Emmett, chat about the defense as well for us.
I think we have a senior on. I think 5 out of our 6 defensemen are seniors.
Oh, as well. Yeah,
and
so that's
the
solid
biggest
too.
defenseman is a junior, so I think we're pretty solid down there.
All right. Ryan, let's bounce to you here for a second. Let's get you some more mic time, okay? You look at beating West Jenny, 6-3 a couple weeks ago. Talk about the biggest takeaway when you beat a team like that, what you guys learned from that, what you took away from that.
It definitely shows that they're definitely going to be a team we will see down the road, and it kind of prepares us for that. You see, they're a good team, and so it kind of gives you something to work for in practice.
Yeah, Neil, talk about that. I mean, that's a big accomplishment.
It's always great to beat them. I mean, they set the bar so high for high school hockey in Central New York, and tons of respect for that program. So anytime we have the opportunity and the type of group to compete with them is always a fun game. Meacham that night was the most crowded I've ever seen.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it was
totally just a lot of fun that night.
All right, let's go to Andrew. We haven't asked you many questions, so our Summit Car Spotlight interview, Andrew Corning here for a second. You look at, as you guys play Cortland Homer tonight, talk about this team, talk about, I guess, what Coach has stressed and what needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Cortland Homer, they've had some good games. I mean, they tied Scan, and they've really played some good games, beat some good teams, so they're definitely not going to be easy tonight. I think, honestly, if we just play our game, we should be fine.
All right, very good. I like that. Neil, I want to go back to you for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the game plan tonight. Elaborate a little bit for us and what you're telling the boys.
I think the game plan tonight is to just, like Andrew said, play our game and use our speed and our depth to our advantage, and just to not try to get caught up in a track meet with them, and just play good, simple hockey, and we should be fine.
All right, Hugh, let's bounce to you again for a second. I want to talk about Division I, the sectional playoff format. Does it affect your guys' approach? What do you think of the format, and kind of chat with us about that?
So I think we're expecting to be one of the higher seeds. So we'll probably have first game in the quarterfinals. And there's some good teams in the middle of the road, like FM, CNS, RFA, that could upset you and surprise you if you don't come to play.
That's right. Phil Blackwell from the Eagle Newspapers, the guru of all high school
things
sports.
I have. First of all, to all the guys, I mean, there's a little bit of a concern that you haven't had that many games the last 2.5 weeks. You only played one time, I think, and you've had a couple postponements. Will it take a game or two to really get your rhythm back?
Well, let's go down the row. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard coming back off of you haven't played in a while, so I guess we're gonna have to figure it out early. Again, I just got to get your legs under you early. So
I think it's good to have the rest, and especially with our practices being so intense, it's almost like we're playing full games there. Not exactly, but it's close.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan that our practices are really intense, so it's kind of like playing a game. I think the rest is really good too.
Yeah, having a lot of rest off is it can be good to rest your legs, but it's always good to stay in a groove and a routine to play a lot of games. So got to get back in that routine with postseason coming up.
Hey, Neil, talk about the formation of the Syracuse Cougars. I mean, give us some history here.
Oh boy, I think 6 years ago now, the program was still only just the city schools. I know back then Solvay was looking to do something different, and we had approached some other schools to see if they were interested in joining. At that point, the year we were going to have with Corcoran was going to be about 10 skaters and 2 goalies. So the combination really helped keeping kids playing high school hockey in Central New York.
Ryan, let's go right down. Ryan, where are you from? What school?
I go to Corcoran High School.
All right, Hugh, obviously, go ahead, but
I go to Marcellus.
yeah, you're Mustang. You better believe it. Emmett, Barry, how about you, Emmett?
I go to Marcellus.
You are Mustang, Barry?
Mm-hmm.
You got any
Yep.
brothers or sisters?
I have a brother and a sister.
How old?
My sister's 25, I think, and my brother's 21.
Okay, a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
And who else am I missing? Corning. How about you, buddy?
I go to West Hill.
Nice, good crew. Yeah, West Hill, Marcel. It's a big rivalry. How do you two get along? Do you guys ever punch each other on the ice? You and Hugh and Barry. You guys ever jump in on it?
No, I mean, guess
Your brothers together.
yeah. I mean, maybe like football games, something.
I mean, because if there, it'd be even worse if there was a Skinny House Laker in the mix here with you guys. All right, Phil, jump on. Go.
The biggest news I wanted to mention was that yesterday the state announced that they would be, if you reach the state tournament, you're going to be playing 15-minute periods. For those who don't know, this season that Section 3 and other sections in the state went to playing 17-minute periods with 2-minute penalties and things like that. And people have gotten used to that sort of thing. And they're going to keep doing that to the sectional playoffs. However, because of a officials dispute that takes too long to explain, they're going to be playing in the state tournament 15-minute periods with 90-second power plays. How harmful is it for this? I'll ask Neil about this. How harmful is it to play a whole season a certain way, and if you get to the state tournament, all of a sudden you're reverting to an old format?
I don't know how harmful it may be. I mean, it definitely is going to change our approach as coaches to the game. One of the strengths of our team is our depth, so that will hinder us, I guess, in a little bit of a way. But same thing with the power plays. I think we have 2 really good power play units. So now when you get the shorter power plays, you're going to get that second unit or the first unit out a little less. So, but we'll make adjustments, and mixing up lines and stuff like that, just to get guys in a better groove for those.
That said, what do you guys think about the whole thing? All of you guys, what do you think about it?
I think it definitely will change our approach to it. But I mean, I think all in all, if we just play our game, and if it's 15 minutes or 17 minutes, I think either way it's fine.
Yeah, right. Keep going right down the line. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, given that we make it out of the section, hopefully, I think we'll just be there to play hockey. So I don't think it'll have too much effect. I might get less tired, so that'll be a plus.
Barry, you're up, buddy.
Not too worried about the change in the time. I think it's just we still have to play our game.
All right, Hugh, how about you, pal?
Yeah, I think like Ryan said, we gotta take it one game at a time and get out of the section before that even takes into effect. So once we get there, if we do, then I don't think it'll have much effect. I mean, I think the 4 of us have played 3 years with that format, so we're kind of used to it.
Hugh, your cousin's showing you some skills, some stuff, or what?
Yeah.
Showing you what's up?
Yeah, they're doing well.
They're doing very well.
Yeah.
All right, Phil Blackwell. Neil, let's go to you one more time, Purcell. And if you want a great paint selection, go see Purcell Paints and Neil. Let's get this for one more second here. You look at hockey in general in the area. How do you feel about it?
I think it's actually bouncing back pretty good. I think if you look at all the youth programs, all of them are really, really growing, especially in the younger ranks. Let's call it 10 and under, 12 and under. Those teams and those programs are really having strong numbers now. So I think hockey's slowly, steadily coming back in a big way.
All right, big round of applause. Syracuse Cougars, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming in studio, hanging out with Here's. Did I applause? Start clapping. There you go. We'll be right back. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are back on the show. Summit Cars Spotlight interview, members of the West Genesee girls basketball team. And we've got assistant coach Carly DeCoco in studio. What's up, Carly? How are you? Good. Let's get you right in front of that. So talk a little bit about this team and how long have you been with the West Genesee girls basketball program?
This is actually my first season with them. I'm a West Genesee grad myself, so it's pretty cool to coach for a program that I played for. I think we got a really good group of girls. I'm pretty fortunate to be part of it.
All right, very, very good. Where'd you go to college?
OCC and then Lemoyne.
Did you play for my boy Wheeler?
I sure did.
You did?
Yep.
We haven't talked to Wheels in a while. Mackenzie Smith, how are you? What's up, Mackenzie Smith? Say hello to everybody.
I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you in here. You're not related to Aaron Smith, are you?
Nope.
Or Sue Smith?
Not that I know of.
I was just making sure. Because there's probably about 5 gazillion Smiths. Madison, what's up, Madison?
Oh, what's up?
Are you two related?
No. Might want to talk to the microphone. Nah, it's okay.
Come on, go ahead. Say hello, Madison. Say what's going on.
What's up?
Do you guys, hey, stop. Just use one microphone. You two share that one. Madison, good job. I'm going to have to start scolding everybody here on air. So do you two have battles at home or what? How do you guys get along?
Yeah. We
Kind
get
of?
along pretty well, though.
All right, that's good. Caitlin Walker, what's up, Caitlin Walker? How are you?
Not much. Good. How are you?
Tell me about this team. Fun? Having a good time?
Yeah, I just fell, but no, it's good. Yeah.
You just fell?
Outside, yeah.
Oh, that's. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Phil help you up? He's a gentleman.
No, it's all right, though. It's okay.
Alacia, where's Alacia?
Right here.
What's up, Alacia?
Nothing.
And Tara Osterdale, what's up, Tara?
Not much.
Lily Goodsill, what's up, Lily?
Not much.
Cameron, what's up, Cameron? Corbett, how are you?
Not much. I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you in here, Cameron. All right, Carly, let's go to you first. I guess at this point, late in the regular season, talk about the team and what still needs to improve and what you and Coach are telling the girls.
We're really just telling the girls, every day and especially every game, play with character. I think that will take us a long way, on the court, off the court, with our relationships with one another. So that's really what we're pounding at the girls.
Did you recently put on the blue nails, or is that just...
These are 3 weeks old.
3 weeks?
Yeah, thank you.
Let's keep rolling here. No, I just saw the blue. I thought it was kind of cool, but I guess it makes sense with West Jenny, right? There you go. On offensive side, Mackenzie, let's go to you and Madison here, and hopefully you two can work together on this question, okay? On the offensive side, let's talk about some of the keys to establishing, obviously, scoring threats besides you two, but let's talk about you two working together and making things happen for this team. So go ahead, talk about the
in order
offense.
to score, we just have to move the ball around. Am I good?
Yep, you're good.
So we just have to move the ball around and just not be selfish and just pass into each other. So.
All right, Madison, talk a little bit about that as well.
Just like running the floor and moving the ball around, and like whatever a good shot it is, just take it.
Yeah, try to get it up. That's good. And you kind of have green light, whatever you want kind of thing? You too?
I think we all do.
Oh, the whole team?
Yep.
Wow. Coach, talk about that for 1 second. So is that just good shot, take it?
Yeah, we encourage our girls to shoot when they have the shot. Sometimes I think the girls try to be a little bit too selfless.
Yeah.
And they have an open shot and they look to the rack and then they pass it, which is great. We like everyone to get touches, but we do encourage every girl, shoot their best shot.
That's good. Caitlin, let's talk about, you've always had, and the rest of you girls, superb defense throughout the 3-year run of you guys. So talk about the practice time, working on defense, what coach stresses, and why the defensive side is so important.
Well, it's important to get good stops and not let the other team score, obviously, but we work on it almost every day, I think, and we just for every upcoming team that we play, we try to work around how they play their offense and then just learn a defense to defend them.
Alacia, is there more depth in this team than even the last couple of years with, I guess, all the seniors plus, likes of Katie Cunningham, et cetera here?
Yeah, this year we're much closer, and we work better together. And when we're down, we pick each other up instead of bringing each other down and stuff. So
yeah,
we've
that's
been
great.
stressing that lately. Yeah.
Tara, talk about some of the things you girls do, bonding, and some of the stuff off the court to stay, close.
Almost after every Saturday practice, we go out to breakfast together. We're always together after games.
Nice. Where do you guys go to breakfast?
Nestico's too.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite? What do you usually order?
Either French toast or egg combo 3.
What's the egg combo 3?
Caitlin knows that by heart.
What is it? Let me hear about it.
Eggs, toast, bacon or sausage, and home fries.
Choice of a meat. That's always good. Phil, that sounds like a breakfast that you'd enjoy. Yeah. Madison, you reached 1,000 career points. Congratulations. Big round of applause for you. And Mackenzie, let's talk about that too. How important is it to get there? Is that something that...
For me?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not my first priority.
That's right, yep.
It'd be a good milestone to reach, but I'm just focused on winning the games.
I like it. Talk about you two in terms of leadership. How important is that with this team?
Honestly, I would say that everyone has a little bit of leadership in them. So usually it's a lot of the seniors are just always talking, but if one person starts something, it usually follows. So it's important for all of us to talk.
All right, very good. We've got our SummitCars.com Spotlight interview assistant coach Carly DeCoco. Carly, let's bounce back to you here for a second. The two games with CNS are split. Both times you trailed early in the and came back, winning one of them in OT. Talk about that and the girls really pulling those games out.
I think in those situations, that's really just where we have to dig deep and we focus. And the girls, they've done a really good job of that. I think they know. They have their eyes on the prize and they know where they want to be. And every day they're working a little bit to get there. And those games have definitely been a testament to our entire season. So that's really what we focus on.
And what does Coach, kind of talk about to the girls? And do you guys have a certain motto, a certain theme, something that you guys kind of elaborate on before each game, every practice? Is there a certain kind of code?
I think like their tagline you could say for the season is our time, but almost every game there's a different word typed at the top of our game plan that each girl and each coach gets, and that's what we focus on for the day, so it varies.
All right, let's roll around. Phil, you got something? Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Blackwell, just direct it to someone specific.
Well, for example, last night's game with Baldwinsville. Earlier this week, Baldwinsville had come from behind to beat CNS. When in the fourth quarter comeback, a team had lost early in the season. What was you talk about typing a word beforehand. What was the word for that kind of game? Because you came out and just beat them up.
Ironically, Coach was too busy to type up the game plan yesterday. So it was handwritten. But I think that's the best part about sports is really anyone can win. If it's your day, it's your day. If you're shooting well, then, it kind of goes in your favor. So I think we came out, we played really well last night. Everyone shot well. I think we just came out, we had really good energy from the start, and I think that's kind of what propelled us to the win.
Right. Cameron, let's bounce to you here for a second. Let's talk about the playoffs looming and, last 2 years, some of the experience, some of the practice, all that. Talk about practices in general and what you guys really work on.
I think we mainly just work on what we saw in the previous game, and then we just learn from our mistakes, and we'll focus maybe on offense more on one day, defense on one day, and then we just really focus on what would make us obviously better for just the upcoming games.
Lily, what do you enjoy most during practice?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
11-man drill.
Everyone's just really close, so I feel like picking each other up is a big part about enjoying. It makes it fun to come to practice every day.
That's good. Tara, how about you? Favorite part of practice?
I like the Frisha drill. It's like a 2v3 drill. It's really fun.
I love that too. It's a good idea. Alicia.
Why is it called the Frisha drill?
I have no idea. Our coach comes up with weird names for drills.
Yeah.
What happens during the drill?
During the Frisha drill?
Yeah.
It's like a 2v3 and then a girl runs in.
Yeah.
So an extra offensive player or an extra defense player?
It's 11-man kind of, yeah.
Tara, how about you? Favorite part of practice? Did I already ask Tara? Oh, sorry. How about Alicia? Go ahead. Trying to get everybody some vocal time.
Honestly, I think there's times in practices where we're down, and I enjoy how we can pick each other up each time and help each other through things.
All right, nice. Caitlin, how about you?
I think mainly when we get really into a drill or scrimmage and it just feels like a game kind of, and it's just good energy and stuff.
Yeah, I love the game stuff, game situations. How about the sisters? How about you guys?
I like the shooting drills because it's a good time to relax and catch your breath and just relax and shoot.
Put it up, yeah.
I'd say mine is the zone toughness drill. Since we're all really competitive and it's fun to win.
What are you two doing for school?
I'm going to Old Dominion.
Nice, congratulations. Phil, why didn't we highlight that?
I'm going to Vermont.
Nice.
This is a big deal, point, because these two are obviously your sisters and they've been there all the time. And do you see yourselves when you get to college, communicating with each other on a daily basis, motivating each other? Do you see that happening a lot?
Honestly, we're probably going to be really busy. So when we have free time, we'll probably just text each other just to catch up. But I think it's imperative to go our own way since we've always been playing together. So I think it's good for us, but I can't see us talking every minute because we just don't have the time.
All right, let's do some shout outs. Let's go right around. Carly, go ahead. Coco, shout out, family, friends, whomever. What do you got?
My mom listens to the radio a lot.
Oh, tell your mom.
Also, I did this on the fly, so I wasn't able to,
What's your mom's name?
D.
D. What's up, D?
It must be said that Coach is a little under the weather, and that's
Oh,
why he
you
couldn't
are? You're
make
not
it.
feeling well?
No, Coach Breeder is under the weather. So
Yeah, he had to
subbed in.
Yeah, Lane's up something. You did well. You did well.
Thanks.
Phil giving you some props. Mackenzie, Madison, shout outs. Where do you guys want to go?
I'll shout out to my brother Trevor because he just had surgery. So
All right.
shout out to my whole family.
All right. Caitlin.
I'll shout out my dad because he listens to the radio too.
So your daddy's a good dude. Alicia, how about you?
My whole family as well.
All right. Tara.
I'm going to shout out my sister. She has her first lacrosse game today.
Nice. Lily, how about you?
Shout out to my parents.
All right. Cameron.
What about Aiden? Shout out to my mom, Pam.
Pam. All right. Congrats. Guys, give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for coming to the studio. Wonderful job. Phil and I got more to catch up on. Thanks for coming in, girls. Great job. This is obviously Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show presented by SummitCars.com, ESPN Radio, and 97.7, 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are, Mike Bristol, Phil Blackwell, and lots more to cover here as I was kind of chatting a little bit about some of the extras that we need to get to, which is always enjoyable as we can try to cover as much as we can. But you think about New York State Public High School Athletic Association Wrestling Dual Meet, second edition last Saturday at SRC Arena. Division II, Central Valley advanced to the championship round against Mount Sinai and led 3-1-12 at one point, and then Mount Sinai rallied to win 37-34 on a pin to the final bout, actually winning 5 of the last 6 overall. I mean, great stuff there.
Well, I mean, we're run by Central Valley. They've been ranked number 2 in the state all season, and they were not seeded that way in the tournament. Number 6, I think they were, Central Valley. But they made a great run to the championship round and got within one bout of a state championship, which was a big deal for a program that only was formed like 4 or 5 years ago when the schools merged. Central Valley had a fantastic run, and now they head into the sectional tournaments as well. And we want to mention that Fulton got to the semifinals in Division I as well. They made a nice run and lost, I think, to the eventual champions. So I might mention that as well. And then it leads to this week. We have the 5 sectional class championships, which have just started, by the way. You have the Class AA teams at West Genesee. The Class A teams, I believe, are at Whitesboro. The Class B teams are at Camden. The Class C teams, I think, went north to General Brown. The Class D teams went to Cooperstown. The best performers from those events advance to next week's overall sectional event back at SRC Arena, one of the big events of the year in the high school calendar.
Before that, the CVA had defeated Greenwood, Pearl, Falconer in earlier rounds. You got Fulton competing again in Division I. They beat Olean here in wrestling on Spencerport early in the rounds and reached the semifinals, but took a 42-28 defeat to Massapequa in that round. Massapequa, by the way, went on to beat Hilton 41-29 in the finals, which means that Long Island teams really came right through, and they frankly swept both divisions.
I mean, you expect that a little bit in the large schools. The Long Island schools have so many large school powerhouses, more so than even Section 2 or the Western New York schools. They've really handled the state dual meet both times they've been held at the SRC Arena.
So one thing I want to point out, Phil, if we can, much more happened in last Wrestling 2. There was Canastota winning the Center State League tournament in Dolgeville with 83 points. Adirondacks 159 and a half or 159. Well, actually 159.5. I got it right here in front of me. While in the OHSL Liberty Patriots sweep or meet, Marcellus needed 177 points to hold off host Hannibal, 168.5 points, and claim the top spot. These serve as really as a prelude to the quartet of Section 3 class tournaments, and that happens all today. So let's go right through it.
Yeah, we want to mention those league tournaments because Canastota had a strong effort to win the Center States. Marcellus, really strong program they've built the last couple of years, taking the OHSL Liberty Patriot meet. And also, the Frontier League championships were held earlier this week, and Indian River won that tournament. They've had a pretty strong season, the Warriors, and Indian River's maybe the one team that can stay close with Fulton at the Class A sectionals today at Whitesboro. In Class AA, I think you've got a real battle between league champions CNS from the SCSC Metro Division. CNS, CBA Jamesville DeWitt, probably the 2 strongest teams there. Who catches Central Valley in Class B? It's probably doubtful anyone can. And then in Class C, I think it's wide open there. And same thing in Class D as we get ourselves ready for the overall sectional meet next weekend.
Indoor track and field starts to go into It's postseason this week with SRC Arena hosting the OHSL Championship. That's on Wednesday, and the SCAC Championship, that's Thursday night. Before this, there was the Utica Challenge Invitational last weekend at Utica's College's Hutton Dome, where teams from across upstate New York gathered. Also, we got to talk about Liverpool's girls team. Not only won the state title, but had Jenna Schultz break Olympian Jen Rhymes' school record in the 3,000-meter run while also winning 1,000 meters. Incredible job.
Yeah, what a job by Liverpool to win that girls' title at that particular large-scale meet. You had Section 2, Section 5 teams there, and Liverpool beat all of them and beat the likes of Baldwinsville and CNS, some of the large schools. This week's been interesting because on Wednesday, they did get in the OHSL championships, and there were winners of 4 different schools, I think, won. In Division 1, on the boys' side, I believe it was Cazenovia taking the title. And in Division 2, it was Hannibal winning. In Division 1, on the girls' side, it was West Hill winning the championship. And on the Division 2 girls' side, it was Tully prevailing over Skinny Atlas. Then you had the Tri-Valley League Championships, Rome Free Academy winning on both sides, and Camden and New Hartford taking titles. And the Center State Conference was dominated by Clinton winning the boys and girls championships. That took place on Friday. Unfortunately, the SCSC Metro and Empire Division meets were postponed Thursday because of all those cold temperatures that closed schools. They're going to make it up on February 10th, but that comes after the sectional championships that take place next Thursday and Friday, with the boys, with the Class AA and A teams at SRC Arena again, but the Class B, C, and D teams going to Utica College's Hutton Dome to have their sectional meet next Friday.
All right, well, that's been fun. A great high school sports show. We'll obviously see it next week. Mike Bristol and Phil Blackwell. And Phil, incredible writer, always does a great job here. You can check Phil out. He tweets all the time. He does his things.
Too much.
Nah, you're a good man there. He does all the top 10, everything else, so you can see that at InsideHighSchoolSports.com.
And awards, weekly awards, too.
Yeah, and all the weekly awards, all posted at InsideHighSchoolSports.com. So, all right, we'll see you next week for my broadcast partner and the guru of the greatest writer in Central New York. I'm Mike Bristol. See you next week. And thanks for tuning in to the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, presented by SummitCars.com. 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 SummitCars.com.